Hello. My name is Anshul. And this is Aurum.
I'm Vic.
And that's Chungles.
This is our dog Chungles.
She's 1.
She is a baby still.
And he's 12 weeks old today, which means in the state of California, we can no longer get a 4th trimester abortion.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever the case, but anyways, he's 12 weeks now. We've been meaning to make this video for a long time, but we got a little busy, as you can imagine, taking care of this guy.
Because we had a baby.
And yeah, we just wanted to share our experience. I had as close to the most perfect, I don't know.
She came.
Okay, I don't want to say that. I had an amazing birth experience.
Orgasmic.
I don't know if I would say that. I had an amazing birth experience at the SF Birth Center.
When you ask your wife if she came after childbirth.
Okay, all right. It was a great experience, and I just wanted to share because I think it's important to share positive birth stories. Let's just start chronologically. Sunday. He was born on Tuesday, June 4th. So it started on Sunday. Sunday morning, I remember I lost my mucus plug and I had some ongoing discharge that we weren't sure whether or not it was my water leaking. So that night we decided to get things going by using the breast pump to start contractions.
Monday.
Oh. Monday?
On Mondays when we did the breast pump.
Oh, you're right. Monday. My memory's already failing me. Okay, so Monday night we did the breast pump and started to get
So that's like, there's like a direct biological mechanism where nipple stimulation makes your uterus contract because of oxytocin being released. And so once your water breaks, you have like a bit of a timeline before they start talking hospital induction. That's not what she wanted or I for her. But yeah, so we did the breast pump. She pumped for 5 minutes and had a contraction. And then she did that like 2 more times. And then we got scared and went to bed.
Yeah. So I woke up at 2 a.m. on Tuesday and...
Because your dream.
I had a dream that I was really craving cheese. And so I woke up and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should make myself some breakfast because I don't know when the next time I will eat will be. So I made myself some lentil soup. You woke up, we watched some cartoons.
We watched TV for like half an hour and timed the contractions.
Yeah.
And
they were all over the place.
They're like maybe every like 7 to 8 minutes, lasting for like 30 seconds.
We thought it was Braxton Hicks also at this point because it didn't hurt that much. It was uncomfortable.
It still felt like kind of irregular, I would say.
Yeah. Anyways, 2 a.m. So we're like, you know what? Not much we can do. Let's go back to bed.
She had me get her a Benadryl.
And I passed out. I remember taking that Benadryl and just like, I don't remember much.
She was like, got really good sleep that night. Oh, good work, dude. She got really good sleep that night. She was having contractions the whole night, and I would hear her like wake up and breathe through the contractions, and then she would be like snoring in between contractions. So I guess that part seemed pretty chill for her.
Yeah. I was mostly on all fours in bed. That seemed to be the most comfortable place to be. I woke up at 8 a.m. I ate a light breakfast. I think I had a little oatmeal and continued to
Some
labor.
watermelon here and there.
I remember wanting to stay in a dark room.
Well, yeah, I tried to open the blinds of the room, and she's like, "No!" She's like full gremlin mode.
I remember trying to come upstairs, but being like, the lights are not doing it for me. So I stayed in our bedroom, kept all the blackout curtains down, moved from all fours on the bed to a yoga ball and on the yoga mat on the floor. But I was just constantly moving. But we were excited. I was like, I think this is happening. I was like, hugging Anshul, holding him.
It was very sweet.
Being very excited.
It was a trap.
Yeah, I just remember at this point I was like in a good mood. Things were happening. I think at around 4 p.m. is when things started to hurt more. The contractions were starting to get a little more uncomfortable.
She was still timing them all herself.
Yeah, it was just easier for me to like hit the button on the app instead of being like, Anshul, I'm having a contraction.
Yeah.
So.
And it was also nice because the contraction timer, like when it's in a contraction, is red. Mm-hmm. So I would just like know not to, you know, annoy her during those times.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting because once they're over, she's like totally fine.
Yeah, it was like I was lucid again. 4 p.m. though, it was like, okay, this is starting to hurt. I remember being like, okay, I feel like I need something to give myself a little boost of confidence. So I started looking at photos of us as babies, and that really helped.
Not to make this about me, but I guess what I was up to that whole day, I felt like I was like the sober person in this experience. Yeah, so like at 6 a.m. before she had even like gotten out of bed really, I went and I dropped our dogs off at a friend's house. I like stocked the fridge up with coconut water. I cut a bunch of fruit and like packed all our go bags to go to the birth center. Yeah. And so basically the only thing I wanted her to do was just like experience labor and not have to worry about anything else because it's too much.
And he was messaging our midwife.
Oh yeah,
Nancy the whole time.
That was probably the most important thing I did.
Sending photos of like the discharge and like telling her, hey, she's starting to get more intense contractions. What should we do? Like, so I didn't have to worry about a single thing in terms of the coordination with the midwives. But yeah, 4 p.m. is when things started to hurt. So Anshul was like, oh, Nancy says maybe we should try getting into the shower. Mm-hmm. I get in the shower, the hot water. I immediately was like, I feel like I need to take a poo.
And I called the midwife. I'm like, so Nancy, the hot water made her want to push, and so we got out of the shower, and so we're just gonna like chill, and yeah, I think we'll keep you posted if anything develops. And Nancy was like, I don't think that was the water. I think you guys need to come into the birth center.
Yeah. So Anshul packs the bag.
Load up the car.
It felt like the longest car ride ever.
The drive, it's like 10 minutes away. Yeah. Like it's like 4 turns.
I could feel every single bump.
So stressful. I was driving so safely, like the slowest acceleration
and he is
and
not
deceleration. Like I stopped fully at every stop sign. Every pedestrian was given the opportunity to pass, and after what feels like an eternity, but was really just like 10 minutes, we got there. And
so we get there, and Nancy offers to do the cervical exam. And before this, I remember saying, I don't want to know too much information. Either tell me that I can stay and I'm in active labor, or it's time to go home. So
active labor, or basically the birth center, like in all the education and media we had consumed prior to this, they say like if you're going to get admitted for delivery, you have to have contractions that are lasting 1 minute every 4 minutes, and that pattern should be going on for an hour. Yeah. And so she definitely was, oh, I'm sorry, I know. It's crazy hunting. So like, at this point, she's timing her contractions, and it felt like
they were all over the place.
Like, yes, they were lasting longer and happening maybe every 4 minutes, but it wasn't like a straight line, you know? The graph was kind of like all over the place, and we're not mathematicians. We don't know how to interpolate trends.
It would be like 1 minute long contraction every 6 minutes. Oh, and then maybe every 3 minutes. It was kind
of jumping all over the place, and so we were like,
we thought maybe it's
just Braxton Hicks.
And I also wasn't in so much pain that I couldn't talk. Like on the car ride over, Anshul and I were still joking. Like
one of the things we had learned about in our
The birth
and
class.
our birth class was the fear, pain, tension cycle, which is a negative space you can get in during labor that can, you know, not help things along.
Slow things
and
down.
so we thought it was really funny to go fear, pain, tension, fear, pain, tension, fear, pain, tension. She thought it was hilarious. She laughed.
I did laugh, but I was also like, okay, enough.
She liked it.
Okay, but my point is, I was able to still laugh and joke, and like, I was uncomfortable, but not yet at the point where I was like, all right, that's enough. I was laughing, but still. So we thought, you know, maybe this is just Braxton Hicks, and maybe I'm not in active labor, but turns out I was 7 centimeters dilated.
Which is like almost entirely through active labor.
So close, so close. So we get admitted to one of the birthing rooms. Note that meanwhile, there was a birthing class happening next door being taught by one of the doulas we almost hired, Lauren Brown. She's great. She teaches an amazing birth class.
We couldn't have had such a positive birth experience without all of her education.
Yeah. So we're in the room.
And she's like going full feral at this point. Like when we were at home, she was still like hugging me and like happy that I had impregnated her. When we were in the birth room, she's like, "Don't touch me." I'm like, I'll give her counter pressure. She's like, "Stop." Yeah, I know. I didn't like it either.
Once we were in the birthing room, so many of the things that we had planned just did not come into use.
I really like planning things. I plan a lot of camping trips, etc. So like this was just like packing for another camping trip for me. So like we had popsicles to eat during labor, and we had liquid IV. I made her like a liquid IV. Hi, bud. Hey, bud. Yeah.
He made me a little liquid IV, and I immediately projectile vomited.
Projectile vomits everywhere. We had like lavender oil for the essential oil diffuser.
And I
Does
remember
Mr. Bouncy want to go bouncy?
Taking one inhale and just being like,
she was like, "Get that away from me." And so I'm like desperately trying to get the lavender oil away, and I spill it all over the dresser, and it's a whole thing. The only thing I did do that was helpful was
the fan.
Hold on, let's wait for him to
find his thumb.
Yeah, just find your thumb. Find your thumb. So when we were packing for the birth center, I'm like, oh, you know, it's probably gonna be like really hot and sweaty during labor. Maybe we should get like a hand fan so I can fan you. And she was like, that's stupid. I'm cold all the time. And I was like, okay, I'll just put this piece of cardboard. It was like a piece of cardboard from in the Amazon package. I just put it in our go bag. Literally the entire time we were at the birth center, I was just sitting there fanning her. And I'd stop and she'd be like, don't stop.
So that was great. But yeah, it's just funny, all of the things that I expected. I had a whole playlist planned and didn't listen to any of it, just listened to birth affirmations and ocean noises.
There's a 3-hour-long guided meditation that has ocean noises starting at 45 minutes on YouTube. And every time it would end, she'd be like, skip to 45 minutes. And I'd like desperately be trying to put the baby noises on, the ocean noises.
I was, again, mostly on all fours, but again, trying to move around.
The birth center had all these like amazing apparatuses for laboring on. They had like these inflatable chair things and these stools. They had these like swings that came out of the ceiling. And I was like, I don't know, she's like an aerialist dancer. I'm like, oh, maybe the swings would be like your thing. I like suggested she'd go on the swings maybe like twice, and she's like, stop trying to make the swings happen.
I just knew what I wanted, and I was to be on all fours or on the yoga ball, mostly on all fours.
So primitive.
So, I started to feel the pain more, and I remember at one point Nancy's sitting on the bed, I was on the floor in front of her, and I grab her hand, and she's
like, Nancy, hurts so much.
And I was like, how will I know when I'm transitioning? And she was very calm.
She's just like, I think you already are.
And she's like, I think you're doing a beautiful job. Keep going. You've got this. So I'm like, okay. I knew it was normal. I knew everything was fine. At one point, though, I was in so much pain that I was like, okay, the only pain relief option they have is the nitrous. So I was like, Anshul, go get the nitrous.
And I did.
I took one half of the nitrous and I immediately felt the urge to poo. And I was like,
I like run out of the room and I'm like, Nancy, the nitrous makes her want to push. And Nancy's just like, I don't think that's the nitrous.
Yep. So that's when we knew time to get the tub started. So Nancy turned on the tub, got the water warm.
Not before I got a nice hit of the nitrous.
Okay, yeah, that too. Yeah, I get in the tub. It was around like 7:15, 7:30 at this point.
You got in the tub at 7:45.
Okay, 7:45. Nancy.
Maybe we should do like a timeline up to this point. So, 2 a.m. labor started. 4 p.m. it felt very intense. 5:30 we got to the birth center. 7:45 she's in the tub ready to push. So she gets in the tub and Nancy offers her the cervical exam, which is like quite invasive, and she's just
I was like, no.
I don't want you to do that. And then Nancy, this is just like a great example of like self-advocacy in a medical setting.
And I
Nancy's
felt comfortable enough to do so, you know?
As you should in any medical setting.
Yeah.
But Nancy's like, okay, that's fine. If you want to like stick your own fingers in, you could see what you feel. And she's just like, I'm not gonna do that.
I was just so uncomfortable, and like I was like, I know it's happening, so I think that'll just slow things down.
And she's like, this baby is coming.
Yeah.
And then after that, she got like freakishly still.
Yeah, the water was so warm and relaxing. I felt like my muscles just like loosen up, and I just like kind of fell asleep for a moment.
I had to like look closely to see that she was breathing. And the surface of the water was like totally glass-like, and she was just like, and then
and the urge to push came. So it feels like you need to poo, and I did poo.
Yeah, she pooed. 2 little turds came out on the first push, and Nancy had
Just little fishnets.
These little fish
scooped it out
things,
right away.
like a beta fish at the aquarium.
Yeah, got it out.
And then, so Nancy the midwife is like, he's fine. Nancy is like monitoring his heart rate on the Doppler every minute or so. And there comes a point during.
So I like put my fingers in and I could feel his head, and I was like, oh my god, I feel his head. It's like I feel hair.
I could see like this.
Yeah, you could see the top of his head. He was like, I don't know if that's crowning. Yeah, it was this.
It was like this.
And Nancy's monitoring my heart rate with the Doppler, and she says, his heart rate has dropped. I think you really need to get him out on the next push.
And she was just like, nope. And he was like, his head was like, I have to demonstrate with him while I have him here. His head was like this, and then it was just like, boom. Like I saw him and then I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, so I kind of like sucked him back in, because I just didn't feel like I was ready. Like, I've been doing the perineal massage, and I didn't feel fully like loose and relaxed. It felt a little tight still. So I remember bringing him back in. I remembered all the breathing techniques we did in the birth class. I used my candle breath and just slowly like tried to control things. It helped to hold the top of my...
She just like had it all very... Her fingers were doing work.
Yeah.
And then the midwives were like, that's great. And then they're like, Angela, you should apply counter pressure on the bottom. So she's like here, and then I'm like here, kind of. Oh, I know, it's very graphic. I know.
Should I feed him?
Yeah. So she's over here, I'm over here.
Mm-hmm.
His head is coming out on the next push.
He just slipped right out. It felt like
his head came out, and we thought the rest of him would be like another push, but it was just like,
oof, yep.
And I caught him underwater. I brought him, put him on her chest, and he started crying immediately.
Yeah.
I said, I see a ball sack, and
he was a boy.
We didn't know, but we had a feeling he was a boy.
I had a hunch. I kept having dreams it was a boy.
Dreams,
but yeah, I was just so shocked and overwhelmed with joy, and amazement that I had pushed this amazing tiny human out.
She was like crying the most euphoric, insane tears I've ever heard her cry.
Tears of joy, but also exhaustion.
And pain. And from coming.
I didn't tear. That's one thing I want to note. I didn't tear. I think controlling the pushing and like slowing things down really helped.
In the water, I'm sure.
Being underwater, really relaxing my muscles. It went great. Then we moved to the bed, and
everyone helped her to the bed from the tub.
And the midwife helped him latch, and he started breastfeeding, and contractions began, and the placenta came out.
They just like caught it in a glass beaker. Mm-hmm. And we left it attached to him for like an hour, and it was kind of neat.
Golden hour moment where we totally thought we would just be alone, just the three of us.
Basking.
But we were so excited that we had to call all our friends and family.
We just like FaceTime one person after the next. We're like, oh, they didn't pick up. That's okay. Call so and so. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were FaceTiming everyone. There we ate our postpartum meal, which was ají de gallina that Angel made. It's delicious. It's like a little Peruvian chicken dish. And yeah,
it's very labor intensive.
It is very labor intensive, but he does a great job. And after being monitored for a couple more hours,
at midnight, we were like, okay, can we leave? And Nancy's like, oh, you're ready to leave? Yeah, sure. And then they basically, they do a lot of stuff on him. But yeah, they sent us home. We forgot clothes for him, so they gave us some nice. We were back home by 12:45.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was great to be in our own bed.
We didn't miss a night of sleep in our bed.
Yeah, and
she made it look like super chill.
I felt like I was up and walking. The midwife was like, go back to bed.
Had to yell at her for getting out of bed.
Do not get out of bed. Yeah. Make sure you rest.
We'll do another video on the postpartum care.
Yeah. Angel's got that
imprisoning her.
Yep.
In bed.
But yeah, it was overall an amazing, beautiful experience. Everyone at the birth center was so helpful, and it went so smoothly.
I think we feel like really obligated to share our experience, because we just want people to know that like you can have a safe birth outside of a traditional hospital setting. Mm-hmm. And we're not like disbelievers in medicine at all. But like if you have a healthy pregnancy, you can give birth in a tub.
It was great. It was amazing, and I would do it all over again. And I just want to share my gratitude for everyone at the birth center. Lauren Brown, who was our our second midwife, I guess, who stepped in. She was amazing.
It was really funny. She was teaching a class like in the lobby of the birth center while she was delivering. And she's a doula, but she's also a midwife. And her labor was progressing so quickly that the second midwife who was assisting wasn't there yet. And so Lauren, who we were considering hiring as a doula, but ultimately didn't have a doula. Nancy's like, can you go get her? And so she ended up being in the room helping us deliver
And Michelle,
our son.
the other midwife, was also super helpful.
She just came in the room and had an extremely commanding presence.
Yeah, it was just, everyone was great, and I couldn't have imagined a better experience.
So at what point did you have an orgasm?
Anyways, thanks for watching. Yeah, we're just so happy and over the moon, and we love our little guy so much. I've only dropped him once in these 12 weeks.
And he was fine.
He's fine. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.